So the 2018 draft is over a year away, and it's not really talked about because everyone just is talking about Lonzo Ball, Lonzo Ball, Lonzo Ball. Anyone who complains about LeVar Ball doesn't realize how much of a genius he is. He's made himself a celebrity, he's made Lonzo a celebrity even though Lonzo's quiet, and it's all anyone talks about in basketball. LeVar Ball is now one of the biggest names in basketball, and so is Lonzo Ball. And this draft, 2017 draft, is going to be one of the most anticipated in years. But I'm going to be talking about the 2018 draft. A lot of people are looking at players like Michael Porter, DeAndre Ayton, saying that it could be a great draft. Well, probably not as good as this year, it is going to be a great draft. But one player that a lot of people are not talking about is a guy from Slovenia who is playing for Real Madrid, Luka Doncic. NBA Draft.net actually has him going as low as 4 in the NBA draft. But thankfully, Draft Express has a little bit more knowledge about this guy and has him going number 1. But if you've never watched this guy play, you might be thinking, why would they pick an international prospect over Michael Porter, who's going to be playing in college and is probably going to prove himself as one of the best young players in the world? And even NBA Draft.net decided to compare Luka Doncic to Danilo Gallinari, a player that he plays very, very little like. But unlike Michael Porter, Luka Doncic is currently playing professional basketball in the Spanish ACB and EuroLeague, in probably the second best league in the world. And it's not like he's just broken into the team. He's been playing with the Real Madrid senior team since he was 16 years old and playing minutes. This season, he established himself as one of Real Madrid's best players. Per 40 minutes, Luka Doncic ranked 6th in points for Real Madrid, 4th in field goal percentage, 3rd in 3-point percentage, 4th in free throw percentage, 6th in rebounds, 2nd in assists, 5th in steals and 3rd in blocks. He does not have any weaknesses to his game. He's a ball handler, he's a passer. While he doesn't have elite lateral quickness, while he's not going to be able to defend quick point guards, he will be able to defend a lot of 2s and 3s. But he's an intelligent defender and he works hard on that end of the floor. So while he's not incredibly quick, that's not going to affect him too much in the NBA. Because as you can see, players like Kyle Korver, especially when he was with that Atlanta Hawks team, was a great team defender, and Doncic is a lot quicker than Kyle Korver was. On offense, Luka Doncic is an extremely good shooter, shooting nearly 40% from 3 in Europe. And unlike shooting 40% in college or high school, the European 3-point line is further out than both of them. While it's not as far as the NBA 3-point line, it's a lot more comparable than the jump from high school to the NBA, like people like Michael Porter are shooting right now. So I know you guys are going to be saying, how is he going to be a good player without elite athleticism? The simple answer, he's one of the most skilled players I have ever seen. I've watched a lot of this guy playing with Real Madrid this year because they actually broadcast EuroLeague games in Ireland and no NBA games. But he's a seriously good player. While there's the likes of Andrew Wiggins, who's come through the ranks as an elite athlete, Michael Porter is an elite athlete, and while Doncic isn't anywhere close, he's not incredibly unathletic, but his skill level is off the charts. He handles the ball like a point guard. He can shoot as well as anyone else. He can shoot off spot up, he can shoot off the dribble, and it's just his basketball IQ. He's one of the most intelligent players I've seen, especially at 18 years old. Luka Doncic turned 18 in February, and even at the start of the season, when he was 17, he was still doing extremely well. And even in the preseason game against Oklahoma City Thunder, I know it's preseason, so you can't judge anything by that. Just looking at these highlights, you can see he plays the game with extreme confidence. His basketball IQ is off the charts, and to be honest, he's one of the most skillful players I've seen in a long time. His play, his craftiness is comparable to someone like a James Harden. But he's crafty, he's able to get defenders up, he's able to get by them while seemingly looking like he's just walking to the basket. Luka Doncic is sim. While he's not going to be as good a scorer as James Harden, he has that same type of craftiness about him, which means he will be able to get to the basket at the next level. So I've read articles for people that have really watched Luka Doncic play, and they actually think that he could possibly be the best prospect ever. Even more than LeBron James. While I wouldn't go that far, I would not go that far, but I'm gonna hear this guy out. Basically, what he argues is that LeBron's physical profile more transcendent than Doncic's skill level, and there's an argument that can be made. LeBron became one of the most skilled players in the NBA, while Doncic can't really improve his athleticism that much, so that point is kind of irrelevant. But Doncic has probably the highest skill level of anyone in this draft, and has one of the highest skill levels of anyone we've ever seen. It says, is LeBron's vision and IQ for an elite athlete rarer than Doncic's height for a point guard? And exactly, like Luka Doncic, I don't understand why NBA Draft.net has him as a small forward. Luka Doncic is a ball handling 2 guard who can play at the point guard if needed. He's 6'8". He's 6'8", elite handles, elite passing, and an elite shooter. So I would not go as far as to put him anywhere near LeBron. But could he be the best prospect we've seen since LeBron? That's a legit question. While I don't think he's going to become Kevin Durant-like, I think he could possibly be the best international guard we have ever seen. And that's ahead of people like Tony Parker and Drazen Petrovic. And I know every one of you guys are thinking, what about Ricky Rubio? Ricky Rubio was the exact same. Even 8 months younger than Doncic, put up similar stats in the Spanish ACB. And in the 2008 Olympic final, played pretty much the entire game for Spain at point guard when Calderon was out injured and looked exceptional. The difference is Rubio had a lot of weaknesses when it came to playing in the NBA. Ricky Rubio was 6'4", 4 inches smaller than Luka Doncic. His athleticism is weaker than Doncic. Rubio has never dunked a ball in a game. Ricky Rubio, while a gifted passer, so is Doncic. He couldn't shoot the ball, so teams could go under the pick and roll, meaning it was a lot more difficult for him to make passes. If Ricky Rubio was an elite shooter, he'd be one of the best point guards in the game, because he's possibly, after LeBron James, the next best passer. His basketball IQ is off the charts, he's a great defender, but the lack of shooting has killed Ricky Rubio. And while he's still a great NBA player, it's the reason he's not an elite point guard. Luka Doncic is different. He's 4 inches bigger, he's more athletic, and he's got a very similar skill set to a Ricky Rubio. While maybe not as good a passer, very, very similar. So anyway, that's the video. While I don't think Luka Doncic is as good a prospect as LeBron James was, and obviously probably nowhere close to the likes of Magic Johnson, Kareem, who were long before the time I was alive, but since LeBron James, from looking at him, I think he could be the best prospect we've ever seen. At 16 years old, he was playing minutes at the 2nd highest league in the world. And right now, he's probably the 3rd best player on one of the best teams outside the NBA. I think Luka Doncic right now is NBA ready at 18 years old. If it wasn't for the whole having to be 19, he probably would be in this year's draft. Luka Doncic is the best international prospect we've seen since Ricky Rubio, and he doesn't have the weaknesses that hindered Ricky Rubio at the NBA level. So who knows, Luka Doncic could become the best international guard we've ever seen. But then again, how often do people say this about international players? While I think Luka Doncic is very different than any of the busts, there are a lot of busts. I thought Hezonja was going to be a great player, I think he still could be a good player, but I expected Hezonja to be extremely good and he wasn't. And you just never know how Europeans' games are going to translate into the NBA. So anyway, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.